Hello, Southwest Florida. Welcome to another edition of Lee Pitts Live. Of course, I'm Lee Pitts, and I'm so thrilled that you tuned in and stayed with us today. We have a fabulous show in store for you. You've heard about it. The buzz is out at the Florida Repertory Theater. They are doing it and doing it well with the play, The Mountaintop. Fictitious conversation between Dr. Martin Luther King and his maid during his final, not maid, but the hotel cleaner of the hotel room during his final days at that famed Memphis hotel. So without further ado, we have the actors here from the Florida Repertory Theater at the Arcade. Let's bump them in. Daniel and Hope. Welcome to the show.
Hey,
thank you very much.
Thank you for having us.
Good to get Martin Luther King up in here sometime.
Ain't it?
Screaming out of the past into the modern era. Welcome to the show. Martin Luther King, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
You already had the mustache in advance?
No.
Or you grew up for this role?
No, I always have the mustache. I usually have a goatee. I had to shave that off.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. So that's cool. And so, of course, people know he's playing Martin over there. And then I said the maid, but it's really you clean the hotel, you're the hotel room cleaner?
Yeah, the hotel cleaner, Cam A. And we're spending some time together in this play.
Okay, it sounds pretty good. Did you guys know each other before now, or you just kind of met up at this particular play?
No.
Yeah. Yeah, this is the first time we've worked together.
Yeah.
Is that pretty common in the industry?
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All the time? Mm-hmm. Okay, so let's get to know a little bit about you. I've gotten a chance to see Daniel perform when you were in the Fences that the Florida Rep put on at the Arcade Theater
about 4
some
years
years ago, 4 or 5 years ago. And you did an outstanding job there.
Thank
I'm
you
gonna get
very
a chance to see you soon. But let's get a little more background on you as a thespian.
Sure. Originally, I'm from Chicago. I've been in New York for
Chi-town.
about 20 years.
Chick
Lots of
Ricks.
theater.
See, I'm getting my Chi-town in. You don't know what I'm gonna say, man. My roommate in college, he's from Chicago. Let me get that in. He gonna love it. Solo shout you out. He went to Finger High. Go ahead.
Okay,
Yeah.
Go Finger High.
Yeah. You know about Finger?
No.
Yeah. Okay.
Thornwood. I went to Thornwood High School.
Okay.
And my career's mostly been theater, a little bit of TV here and there.
Okay.
I was on Mr. Robot, Bull, The Good Fight, a few other shows here and there, but my career's mostly been theater.
Hey, you've been able to make a living in the theater. There's a living there, right? That's what you're saying. You can make a living.
You can make a living. it is possible.
Okay.
But like myself and like many actors, we are waiting tables, we're bartending, we are, I'm not dog walking, but people are dog walking, but we always find other ways to make ends meet because New York is not a cheap city to live in.
That is great to know. How about you, Hope? Get a little background on you.
Yes, I'm originally from Rhode Island.
Okay.
Providence, Rhode Island.
Beautiful place. Beautiful up there.
It is beautiful. There's like 4 black people there.
But you black.
Yeah, I am. And my career has mostly been in theater, a little bit of film and TV as well.
Okay.
So Succession, Evil, a couple Amazon Prime shows.
Okay.
But mostly in theater, and I love theater, and I'm happy that I get to make a living doing it.
Okay. And then now you're on Lee Pitts Live. Put that on your resume.
And now I'm on Lee Pitts Live.
Boom.
Period.
Let me get you guys to tell people how to connect with you on social media. Go.
My Instagram is at Hopeywa, HOPEYYWAA.
And my Instagram is DMorganShelly.
Okay, there you go. So we're here, and let's set the scene. Start here. How did you guys come about these roles? Start with you. How did you come about having this role at the Florida Rep?
Well, we auditioned in New York. You auditioned in New York too, right?
Yes.
Yeah, we both auditioned in New York. The casting for Florida Rep flew down to New York to audition people.
That's the way that works.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they fly to New York, we audition, and then it's silence, and then you get a call that you booked it.
Okay.
Exactly. That is exactly how it happens.
Yeah.
100%.
It's like those casting calls like we see in, like your agent gets you there.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Exactly.
All right, so it's good to see how all that works. I didn't have to go through that hard stuff when I became a TV host. Somebody saw me walking down the street. I got discovered, and I went
Boom.
straight.
The rest is history.
Right, didn't have to be a reporter struggling in the field. Just went straight to hosting my own show with my own name on it. So I appreciate the struggle.
But like, fortunately, because I've worked at the theater before, I have a little bit of a relationship with the artistic team. So it was nice to. It's nice to be back. It's nice to be back working at Florida Rep.
Yeah. Y'all liking this weather down here too, right?
Love it.
Yes.
Y'all think it's
Love
a
it.
breeze? We freezing. This is a cold front for us.
It's
It's
super
spring.
warm.
It's springtime. It's spring summer for
Yeah.
us.
I mean, like, you got your leather jacket, but
I
like
do.
I've
Yeah.
not worn a
Yeah.
jacket since I've been here.
He hasn't.
I've been rocking shorts and flip flops.
Y'all got a chance to visit our beautiful beaches yet, or no?
Not
yet.
yet.
Not
I'm
yet.
trying to go though.
Yeah.
We have been like entrenched in rehearsal
Yeah.
and learning our lines and getting the play under our belts.
I'm
Yeah.
glad you gave me that segue. Talk about the preparation to play the iconic Dr. King.
Woo! Well, I started with a lot of research. I got 2 books. Why We Can't Wait, Dr. King's book on the Birmingham campaign for desegregation. And then I also got another book called The Radical King,
Okay.
which is a collection of lots of his speeches.
Okay.
And that's put together and edited by Cornell West.
Okay.
So I just wanted to get like a little bit more into his mindset, find out what do I not know about Dr. King, and let me see what more I can find out, and then really get into like a little bit deeper into his philosophy and his feelings and etc. So I wanted to start there.
I'm glad you mentioned The Radical King.
Yes.
I haven't read that book, but I'll put it on my list of things to do.
Yeah.
But just by that title, it sounds like Dr. Cornel West showed that side of King that people may not realize, that he was really outspoken about a lot of things that kind of got put in the shadow of I have a dream, and that's
Exactly.
all you know, right?
Right.
So, but when you listen to his speeches and everything else, he's just as radical to me as Malcolm X to a certain degree. Did that enlighten you in the way you approach the role as well?
It did. It did, just because it's there's a lot more to Dr. King than I feel like what is kind of the general overview of him, especially when it comes to like economic inequality and the things that he was talking about and pushing for at that time.
Yes, and as he evolved, things started to change even more about his philosophy on economic equality. Just so you guys know, and for my television audience knows this, but they want me to make sure I mention it. I am from Birmingham, born and raised.
Really?
My mom was out there when you saw the fire hoses and the police dogs and all of that. She tells me that story, but I was a little boy. So.
Wow.
And we lived up the street from the 16th Street Baptist Church that was bombed that morning when the 4 little girls were killed.
That was my grandma's
right.
church.
We lived right up the street. And I played in that park, the Kelly Ingram, that park right there where all that happened. We played in there as kids as we grew up when they allowed for integration. So just getting that in, because I never had the opportunity to get it in on TV.
Yeah.
Because nothing ever came up about it. Sure. So you played the room cleaner, you busting those beds and everything,
Yeah.
and you come across this iconic figure. When I don't know how the play plays out, I'm going to see it soon. But when you open the door, whatever, you discover King is in there. Let's talk a little bit about that in the prep for it.
Yeah. So when you see the play, you're going to be very surprised about how it all unfolds. But I think that playing a character that has to interact with Martin Luther King is magnificent, right? Because you kind of have to figure out, like, you have the great icon he is now, and the icon he was then wasn't less, but it was like alive and kicking and breathing. So what would it be like to literally walk into a room and Martin Luther King's like, hey, room service is here. Can you put my tea down? It's crazy. So I think like really just reveling in like the idea of being face to face with Martin Luther King, what would that be like? What would that feel like? So yeah.
I like the fact that the author, the playwright,
Katori Hall.
right, that she put those two together, because I can see the dynamics of that. Also, with you being a laborer and a person who's struggling, who your children or whomever you might have, the future is right there. If opportunity presents itself, you. Being a housekeeper, obviously you didn't have all the fancy education. I mean, not housekeeper, but the maid.
Yeah. So
that conversation there, it's got to be really very interesting. Talk about what you gathered from the whole experience so far.
I mean, well, just on that, yes, like thinking about class is really, really interesting, because you think about, like, when we think about black people struggling who are dealing with more economic inequality versus not, is something that's also Katori Hall deals with in the show. And because you mentioned Katori Hall, I just want to say she's writing for P-Valley now, but she has so many plays, and if you guys are watching, check her plays out. Hoodoo Love, Hurt Village, but phenomenal Black playwright that deals with a lot of really big Black topics like economic inequality and such.
Right. When people Google her, they'll recognize her face too. I see her on television a lot, and that's when I was like, oh yeah, I see her all the time, MSNBC and things of that nature. So talk about. I'm gonna stay with you for a minute there on this particular thing. The coming to the role and your prep for that role. Talk about that whole concept.
I think for me, I also was a Black Studies major in college, so being able to revisit like Black history via play literature was really exciting for me. So I also did my research on King, I did my research on Memphis and the area, getting to know what the hotel looked like, what it would feel like to be in Memphis at that time.
Okay.
So I think similar to Daniel, I did a lot of like my own research on King, just enough to know what she would know, not everything that he would know. But remembering that she wouldn't know everything that I hope in 2023 know about Martin Luther King. So keeping that in mind was really important for my process with the character.
I see. And people see the website and the phone number on the screen they can get for ticket information. Daniel, let's go to the... is it realistic? Is it fictitious? Let's let our audience kind of have an idea of how you see it and how they should approach it.
The play's in magical realism. So I feel like what that does is that it allows us to talk about some of the themes in a way that is not restricted.
Right.
Like it allows us to go a little bit deeper into the ideas of like the power of prayer, the power of purpose, the power of love, and not just dealing with the kind of boundaries that nature would put on us. And so because of that, the play, it's surrealism. So it's kind of like a dream. So in the same way that like with dreams, there aren't really rules in dreams, anything can happen. And since anything can happen, that means that like there are no limits. So this play, this beautiful, beautiful play.
That would be set in, what, 1963?
68.
68. Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
68. I'm thinking
68.
about Malcolm. Malcolm. Okay. So, March on Washington. So, it's 1968. And now we're in our modern period now. What do you think the relevance of that period is right now, how that would play over now?
It's 50 years later, and we are still fighting for some of the things that Dr. King was fighting for. So the relevance of the play and why we would want people to see the play is just a reminder to keep fighting. Like, we're not at the promised land yet, but we can be. And we, each of us, like, one of the core messages of the play is that Dr. King was a man. He did great things, but he was a man. And I feel like a lot of times we feel like we cannot do great things because we are not great, because we are not like Dr. King. But Dr. King was just a man. You are just a man. I am just a man. You are just a woman. And we all can do great things.
I'm still astonished that he only lived to be 39 years old. I mean, you think about all that was able to be accomplished in that time period, and I'm always feeling like I'm not doing enough. Talk about you. Are you 39 yet? Are you 39 yet? Oh, you're younger? Oh, okay, you don't want to tell yet. All right, so, but just talk about that. Go. What he was able to accomplish in such a short period of time.
It's amazing.
Right.
He was 39. Malcolm was also 39.
And Malcolm was younger. He died at 39, but he was still younger.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's so interesting to think back then how different life was. Like, my parents, got a home or whatever when they were like in their late 20s, and I'm like, late 20s, what am I doing with my life? So you just have this different generation.
No, excuse me, Malcolm was older, my mistake. I want to clear it up for people. Malcolm died at 39. King was 3 years younger. Then King died at 39.
Gotcha.
People be texting me and going through all this stuff, but I had to clear that up. Go ahead.
But that also looks into the difference in the economic inequality. That like when my parents were younger, working the jobs that they had, they could get a home and they could pay a mortgage. And now, you know, at the same age, we are not making, our dollars do not have the same buying power as it did back then. So it just looks at a vast difference between what could be accomplished then versus what can be accomplished now.
Hope. What do you hope that people, after they see the play and enjoy it? Certainly, I'm encouraging people to go out and see it multiple times, and take the children to see it as well. But what do you hope that people will take away from their experience in seeing this play?
I hope people take away that Dr. King was not mythic. He was not a mythology. He was a real person. And the same with like Black people, us in the world. I hope that the Black and brown people leave this show feeling like my life is real. I'm not just imagined. I'm not like a caricature you see on TV. My experiences are real and they're rooted in reality. And I hope that that's what Black and brown folk can take away from the show, and what people generally can take away from seeing Dr. King.
Yeah, white people as well. The who would you say is the audience for this show?
I think everyone.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, I think everyone is going to have a different experience with it, but just as important of an experience.
I don't have those dates right here, the opening day and the closing date. I think, anybody got that, you know the date?
We open December 15th.
Okay.
We close
Is it January 12th?
January 12th.
14th.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So go to that website that you're seeing appearing on the screen, the Florida Repertory Theater. Click on purchase your tickets, get your tickets, meet me there. Don't beat me there, don't meet me there. And we're going to see these fine actors do their thing. We'll get a couple of more questions on our way out. What inspired you to get into the field of theater?
Ooh, well, I started in music, and I think that I realized the power of poetry. So I really got into like doing poetry recitations, like Nikki Giovanni. And that led me to theater. Okay. So I got via music, via poetry.
And yourself?
When I was in high school, I was on the speech team at Thornwood High School and started with speaking events and then just kind of transitioned into acting events and just fell in love with it. It was like, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life.
Okay. Say some encouraging words to some young people out there who are looking at the both of you and saying, I want to do that.
Don't give up.
Go
don't
ahead.
Give up.
Okay.
Yeah. Follow your dreams. Like there's no reason why you cannot do the things that you want to do.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what do you say to the people who said get a real job when you were young? You still
I would say,
young.
look at me now. No, I'm just kidding. I would say you can do whatever you want to do. And like, if you have faith and if you want to get to the work, boots in the ground, you can do whatever you want to do.
Do you still sing?
A little.
People know when I have singers on the show, they waiting on the zinger. You give us a little acapella. This
Absolutely
is it.
not. No way,
They
Jose.
give us a little Alicia Keys or anything.
No way, Jose.
Oh man, it's an opportunity.
Maybe they'll come to the show. Maybe I'm singing in the show. Who knows?
By the way, is it a two-person or a lot of other people appear in the play? Is
Just
it
the two of us.
All right.
We can make it if we try.
Just the two of us. All right, well, at least you sang, right?
I knew you were trying to get me.
Let me bump you guys out. I almost had you, though. I thought you were going to show off. As the saying goes on this particular show, for those who say it can't be done, they're usually interrupted by those like these fine actors in the Florida Repertory Theater who are doing it. And remember, Miami might have the oranges, but the Mountaintop has got the
Juice.
They got the juice. We'll see.
Lee Pitts Live is a Lee Pitts Enterprise production.
Hello, everybody. This is Lee. I'm so glad that you watched that particular show. And if you enjoyed that show, we got other shows like that. Just subscribe to our YouTube channel. Watch Lee Pitts Live on demand anytime. And also hit us up on all our social media platforms. Just type in Lee Pitts Live, and there you go.